So, welcome to the first session of Rise of the Runelords in probably a year and a half.
Woo! Dun dun dun.
I thought I would start with a very healthy. How long is this? 5.5 page recap. I'll try to read quickly.
Let's go.
All right. I titled the recap "Recap."
Expert.
Expert.
By Jeremy.
Yeah. All right. Over 10,000 years ago, the Aslanti Empire ruled over half the planet of Golarion. But internal strife led a powerful mage named Z to leave the Empire and start one of his own. With the power of his own brand of virtue magic, based in runes representing the 7 virtues, he conquered many lands and began to build a vast empire of his own, Thassalon. The Thessalonian Empire grew so large, in fact, that he decided it would be in his best interest to divide the governance of these lands amongst his 7 most powerful advisors. He called these rulers his Runelords. But each territory was not equal, and Z had grown more easy to manipulate in his advancing age. So these Runelords sought to steal power from one another, and over time became twisted, corrupt shadows of what they had once represented. After the death of Emperor Z, the Runelords descended into total chaos, waging war amongst themselves, and after 1,000 years, only a couple of the original Runelords remained. The others had been supplanted by their own apprentices or assassinated by the others. They had long since discovered that by corrupting and inverting the runes of virtue, that they could use a more powerful version of magic called sin magic. They could use the sins of the common folk to power their magic and perform the most devastating and cruel of spells. Most Runelords, it is said, ruled their kingdoms with terror and abject cruelty. Then came the cataclysm, Earthfall, when the Starstone smashed through Golarion's second moon and struck the planet. All of Thassalon and Aslant were destroyed, and it was said that in the months leading up to the impact, the Runelords had been preparing themselves, building in certain safeguards or hiding themselves in adjacent planes. It's believed that the Runelords intended to resurrect themselves to this plane once the cataclysm had passed. But that was so long ago that it seems to have failed by now. And time has all but forgotten about the age of Thassalon and the Aslanti, allowing them to fade into myth and to legend. Until recently. On the second day of Rova, a small band of strangers found themselves in the town of Sandpoint at the Swallowtail Festival. Our original 4 consisted of Cordova, Musashi, Cthulhu, and Argus with his pet dinosaur. Under the orders of a young necromancer named Nawalia Tobin, the festival was attacked by a large group of goblins. As a distraction for pseudo-kaijitsu to break into this church cemetery and steal the bones of former priest Ezekiel Tobin. Our heroes put down the raid and saved many villagers' lives and valuables, and as a reward for their heroism, the local innkeeper named Amiko Kaijitsu offered the PCs a place to stay. A couple of days after the raid, Amiko went missing, and you were given a single note as a clue, suggesting that Amiko went to meet her brother. Upon further investigation, the heroes found the glassworks overrun with goblins, and Longiku long dead and mutilated. Pseudo tried to run. The PCs cornered him and knocked him unconscious, quickly tying him up, and descending into the basement of the glassworks, where they found a tunnel leading to. I lost my spot. Found a tunnel leading to some old ruins, colloquially known as the Old Light. but it was actually the remains of an ancient weapon called the Hellstor Flume, decorated with runes of wrath and statues to the Rune Lord Alasnus. Pseudo was supposed to be going there to enlist the aid of a quasit named Illyrium, not knowing that she had already been involved. Instead, the PCs killed Illyrium and followed a trail of clues back to where Pseudo originally came from and where Nawalia was hiding. They did not have the power to destroy the rune well they found inside the ruins, and so they left it for some church elders. Hopefully they were successful. The goblin stronghold of Thistletop is where they found Nawalia hiding. During the taking of Thistletops, the PCs held their own against a slew of goblin warriors, but when they stood before the chief himself, they were shown how mortal they really were when Musashi, the Ronin samurai, was killed by Chief Ripnugget and his best fighters. The heroes retreated and licked their wounds to pick up a new member of the group, and they returned to Thistletop, determined not to come back without victory. They demolished Ripnugget and blazed a trail straight through to Nawalia herself. After killing Nawalia and putting an end to her plan to destroy Sandpoint, it was then that the group discovered that Nawalia had been manipulated by Illyrium all along. She'd used the emotions of Nawalia's miscarriage to convince her to worship a demon queen called Lamashtu, and to set fire to the cathedral, killing former priest Ezekiel and Tobin.
This was really a dark game.
It really is.
Mhm.
I'm remembering all of this as you're talking. It was so dark back then.
The gang pushed through the stronghold and to track down another ancient demon that had been held prisoner in Thistletop for thousands of years, the Malfeshnakor. It had been Illyrium's plan for Nawalia to free this beast and use him to unleash her wrath upon the city, killing hundreds and through her sins giving Illyrium enough power to rule over them all. After leaving Thistletop, the heroes return to Sandpoint and try to relax. A priestess comes from Magnamar, being escorted by men bearing the insignia of the Brotherhood of the Seven. She resurrects Musashi for a small price and leaves to return to her own city. The townsfolk dubbed the group the Heroes of Light. Now, with all the heroes alive again, all seemed well for a week or so until the sheriff informed the group of a few murders that had been happening in town as of late. Two recent murders of a man named Banny Harker and his fiancée, Katrine Vinder, struck the town especially hard because Katrine was the eldest daughter of local merchant Vin Vinder. This resulted in a bit of a confrontation. Let's see. The PCs investigate and found evidence of undead at the scene. And they go to report this. When they go to report this, a local farmer arrives at the same time to tell of a similar account that happened to him. You guys go to investigate the farm and find it overrun with ghouls. God, I've left out what information it was. But y'all found some information at the farm that led you to go investigate Foxglove Manor, which was the home of a friend of the party named Aldrin Foxglove. Oh, okay, here it is. You found the key to the manor. And that's what made y'all go look. When you arrive at Foxglove Manor, you find that Aldrin had gone insane, turning himself and his wife into undead abominations. He had been living under the manor. He'd been leaving the manor under the guise of the Skinsaw Man to infect the countryside and turn them all into ghouls. The PCs discovered that the Foxglove house itself was what was possessing him, because it was acting as a phylactery for the essence of his great uncle Vorel, who had turned himself into a lich. The PCs did not have any means of destroying this lich, so they left the job for some church elders. Hopefully they were successful. You found some papers in Foxglove's workshop bearing the insignia of the Brotherhood of the Seven and suggesting that there may be some answers to your questions in Magnamar. Shortly after leaving Sandpoint, you encountered a goblin masquerading as a halfling named Billick Roachbit. He was interested in joining your party, and as you As he came along with you, and you continued on down the path to Magnamar, you randomly encountered a beast called the Sandpoint Devil. And after a long fight, which nearly claimed the lives of a couple PCs, the devil disappeared in a puff of smoke and flame, pulling Cordova with him. The remaining heroes of light, now consisting of Billick the Goblin, Musashi the Samurai, Nars the Pirate, and Cthulhu the Kitty, sought out Foxglove's townhouse for a place to stay. They found some faceless shapeshifters pretending to be Alden and his wife. After a short altercation, the abominations were dealt with, and a new ally had rushed to join the party. Arin Serana, named Rin, had been sent to this location by a much-beloved NPC named Broderick Quink of Sandpoint. She arrived just in time to deal a killing blow to one of the enemies and help the party discover strange symbols on their bodies. The symbols matched the ones found at Foxglove Manor and those adorned by the priestess who revived Musashi. Upon investigating a local sawmill that was operated as a front for the Brotherhood of the Seven, the group found more information that tied the Brotherhood to a powerful recent benefactor. I believe I added this in just because I think it was, but I think y'all also found several depictions of the Rune of Greed, as well as the seven-pointed Sahedron rune all around that mill. The Brotherhood of the Seven allied themselves with a powerful Lamia matriarch, Zenisha. Musashi realized that she shared a name with a powerful sorceress of his past, and she had been living atop a damaged tower in the slums of Magnamar. After some street investigations and surveillance, the party was able to track her down her exact location and confront her. This is when she realized that she didn't just share a name. She was, in fact, the same woman who had ruined Musashi's life and stolen his love from him. She offered knowledge of her whereabouts in exchange for her own life, but the party opted to take her skin instead. Musashi dealt the final blow on her as he completed his quest for revenge and now starts his quest to find his wife. Upon searching her things, you find a note addressing Zenisha as sister and telling her of the work being done in the small town of Turtleback Ferry and bragging of how they should be in control of Fort Rannoch soon. There was no identifying mark as to who sent the letter, only that they call Zenisha sister. Rin alone took audience with the governor of Magnamar. He paid the heroes for their services and thanked him for saving his town, but made one more request. It seems he has lost communication with the Black Arrows, a group of rangers that control the Hook Mountains and are based out of Fort Rannoch. He asks that you go east to the town of Turtleback Ferry and make your way to the fort to investigate. As we open up our game, as we open up our game, you guys find yourselves standing on the deck of a ship. The three of you, Rin, Musashi, and Nars. This is a recognizable ship. Nars found this in the docks of Magnamar, and because he knows the captain, he recognizes the bone fist with the mug on the hull of the ship. He has booked y'all passage to get all the way to Turtleback Ferry in return for a little bit of work on board. Excuse me. A gray sky overhead flickers with lightning as a steady rain pelts everyone on deck. You left Magnamar roughly a week ago and have been sailing into the rain for the last 5 days. The captain has not been seen on deck this entire time, but his first mate, a half-elf named Baylor, welcomes you on board and has informed you that the ship will be docking at a small gnomish village today to take on supplies and sell wares. There are several men and women aboard. Most are lifelong pirates themselves, but only one other passenger stands out. She is a young human woman, one of only 2 females on board, and she keeps to herself, does her work, and then retreats to her bunk to read and sit with her hawk. As y'all look out, okay, this is your ship. We're going to go ahead and move to the next page for a second. You see a dock and a town coming into view. It's generally a very beautiful, colorful gnomish town. Like you can tell that the the banners and the roofs are brightly painted. Every door is painted with a different color of the rainbow. But today everything looks gray. Everything looks like the rest of the world, washed out in rain, sad and depressing. You pull up to the dock. There are a handful of shops sitting by. One that has a simple sign in the window. It says "Fortunes read here." A couple that sell wares. And I'm going to turn it over to you guys so that your characters can talk amongst themselves and decide where to go.
Can I have a quick review of who is playing what named character?
Yes.
Since I'm not familiar.
Yes, I probably should have done that too. All right, so Devin is playing Arin Sarana. She is a half-elf magus. Josh is playing Musashi, the Ronin samurai. Dwarf, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Casey is playing Nars Arkurd, a human fighter, pirate, former pirate, current pirate, whatever. Kelly is a female ranger yet to be introduced to the party. Yeah. And then, of course, you're, with the gnome, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want to make sure that you'd stuck with gnome because I did pull you all to Gnome Village. No, I'm not a gnome. I'm an orc. Well, fuck. You pulled up to an orc hold.
Brent is going to tell the group we all need to stay on our toes. Whatever's been going on in these other cities, this sin magic could be here. So just keep an eye out.
Anything in particular we need to be looking for?
I'm sure you'll know it if you see it. Anything out of the ordinary. This is a gnome village. You look down at the gnome here. I don't know your character's name because it's not on my screen.
I'm going to roll a perception 23. I'm really looking around.
I'd like to roll a perception on Garden Bunny's character's name.
It is Sorsha, and she's inside of her shop at the moment.
Oh, she's not here. She's not with us. That's right. Okay.
Right.
So it's just the three of us.
It's just three of you. And
Kelly's back there, not part of the party.
Yeah. So Kelly's character, you see the female rogue. She steps off the ship and walks out onto the dock. You see she takes a little hood off of her falcon and lets him fly up into the air for a moment. The front door to the fortune shop, you hear a little bell tinkle open, and a gnome sticks her head out to see what all the commotion is on the dock today. So why don't we start with I was going to do this a different way this time. Since we got two characters, I'm going to roll a d4. And okay. So Susan, what does she look like?
Okay, she is younger than middle age, but she's older. And when she looks at you, you can kind of tell. It's kind of like looking at your grandma, where it's like she already knows what you've been up to, and just don't lie about it. She walks a little bit with a forward slope to her shoulders, and she just has a way of not looking through people, but looking into people kind of presence when she sees your face. She has light-colored wispy hair that she has tied back. She has small round glasses that keep sliding down her nose, so she keeps pushing them back up. And she doesn't have a limp, but she does have a little bit of a hobbled gait.
Crap. Hang on.
Her clothing is mostly natural cottons. It's kind of loose, it's comfortable, but she does have a sash around her of dark purple with very inexpensive metal circles. Kind of the stereotypical gypsy kind of sash around her.
As she peers out her door, her light colored long hair getting significantly wet by the rain pouring off the roof of her shop. She locks eyes with the human rogue. What is she looking at?
She's redheaded and fairly tall, but for a woman, and she's just the silent type. She has a hawk with her just about everywhere she goes. And
Is she carrying weapons?
yeah, she's carrying a bow.
Yeah.
Just the bow? I'm wondering what I can see on her belt.
You got your character sheet. Yeah, she has a large black wood bow. That's a special material. It's a strong, thick wood made, pure black.
What you can see on her, all you can see on her is her bow. In a short sword.
She's also wearing, and this is something we came up with together. We call it Black Forest armor, and it's modeled out of mountain pattern armor, but we have the dark leaf ability on it, which lets it add to stealth. So it comes out just black, black armor with black robe. Someone who hides in the shadows.
Okay.
That's what I got to say.
All right. Yeah. As
Are we rolling dice? What are we doing?
No, as Sorsha looks around, she also, catches a glimpse of some, at least to her, familiar faces. But they shouldn't be familiar. This human girl in front of her and the other three that are walking down the ship, she's never seen them before in real life. But she knows their face. What does she do?
She's gonna step forward just out of the awning of her shop and reach her arm out and kind of wave towards them, keeping the top of her hand kind of flat, and say, you there, you come. You come.
Zipporah's gonna look over at me and start pointing at herself.
And she's gonna nod and push up her glasses.
Zipporah's
and
gonna
open the door a little wider.
Zipporah's gonna follow Sorsha.
Yeah, Rin would do the same. Like, she's the first person who greeted us here. Maybe she knows something.
You walk into this little shop, and you see a glass orb, sitting in the middle of a table. You want to call it a crystal ball, but Ren, you've probably seen one or two of those in your life, and it's not what that is. But you look around, and a bunch of little knickknacks from gathered from all over the place, and funny looking twigs anything that that grows with the slightest bit of natural color and stuff that looks odd is all hanging around the shop. Yeah. Sorsha closes the door behind her.
I'm gonna give them kind of a little bit of a knowing smile. And say, you all need hot tea. I'll be right back. Have a seat.
When she leaves, Rin wants to lean into Zipporah and tell her, I saw you on the ship. You look quite capable.
Thank you.
I don't know what your business here is, but I would caution you to keep your wits about you.
Thank you.
You're gonna hear her in a room behind a thin hanging fabric, presumably where like a little kitchenette or living spaces that the customers would not be in. And she's kind of clanking. You can hear dishes and cups and the tea kettle starting to boil.
I'm gonna roll a die. 1, 2. Casey, how do you feel about your situation right now?
I'm just following everyone. I really wanted to stay on the boat and talk to Baylor, but I guess I got off the boat.
You caught Baylor too, huh?
Yeah. Because I just assume I know Baylor.
You do. You know Baylor.
Yeah, I know I do.
You guys probably know Baylor.
Yeah,
But
he's
I
probably
just
friends
followed
with
Rin.
Guilford or Vincent.
Yeah, I wanted to see who the captain of the ship was.
Okay, so what did I miss?
So I'm just there. I'm following Rin, following Musashi. I'm looking at the town. I know it's a gnomish town. I've probably seen a couple of them before. And just don't understand why it's so dull.
Well, it's I mean, and Sorsha would be able to tell you this, if you ask her, but she, of course, making tea. But you can at least remember you've been sailing in the rain for 5 days, so it's probably been raining in this town for at least 5 days. That would probably contribute to everything being, rained on and drab, a little dreary today. But Musashi, Josh, you missed that, or I don't know exactly when you had to step away, but Sorsha called you into her shop because she seems to recognize you, and you're all standing in this little gnomish shop. Musashi, you're probably the only one that doesn't have to duck standing in there. But yeah, she called you in here, just said, you guys come. And then she said that y'all needed tea, and she scurried off to the kitchen. You're standing in there with Ren and Nars, who at this point are familiar companions to you.
Yep.
Billick and Cthulhu, nowhere to be seen. And this strange young human girl that you only recognize from the ship. How would you say Musashi is feeling about this
random shop? Now, what did the shop look like? Is this the fortune teller shop thing, or?
Yes.
Okay, so Musashi, at least from his standpoint, he just would kind of look around why are we entertaining someone that does witch and sorcery and all that kind of stuff, because he's just soothsayers don't really do a whole lot in his past, and he just kind of be sitting there where'd she go? Why am I here?
I don't entirely trust her either, but it's the first friendly face we've seen in this town, and maybe she knows something about what's going on here. And look around. Do you see anything that we should be concerned about? I'm talking like the Sahidra rune. Do we see anything like that in this place?
No.
Any of the symbols that we've seen in our path so far?
No.
No, there's no runes here.
there be anything in Musashi's past that he'd recognize? Or like from like his area?
Mushrooms.
Oh God, didn't he have a bad trip once?
So there's some of those here, I'm sure.
There are things for smoking, I'm sure, in this shop somewhere.
Ooh, where's a hookah?
Out of nowhere, Narsh just says, "Man, this tea's taking so long."
Oh, hey, I didn't know you were here.
Yeah. So yeah, after you wait a while. What is Sorcerer doing in the kitchen? What is she? Yeah.
Oh, she got her tray and she's got teacups for everybody. She's made a pot of tea and she's starting to use her little hobble gait and come back out. Oh, it's ready for you. You needed warm out of the rain.
Been traveling the rain for many days now. We appreciate the hospitality.
Everything is soaked. Everything, everywhere. All the people, all the shop, all the roads, it's terrible. You need it warmed up. So here, take a cup.
As Nars takes his cup, he pulls his water skin out that has the alcohol in it and pours it into his cup. And then reaches over and pours it into.
Spice.
No, this is my spice. And then he reaches over to Musashi and pours his in, and he holds it up to Rin and the other person that's in the room that I don't know your name. I'm sorry.
She hasn't given it yet. Sure.
Okay.
Rin will take it and do a shot straight out of it, and then hand it back to you.
When you hand it back to me, I get some more alcohol to disinfect it because I don't want this world's thing of COVID.
So Musashi's gonna lean over. What kind of proof was that?
It's what we found on the lich.
Oh, well, yeah, that sure as hell gonna burn anything in this, and he's gonna slowly sip it or sip the tea, just like,
Yeah.
Speaking of things that you found, if we want to take a step away for a second, Casey did bring up one of the items in the chat. Where is it? Unclaimed. Yeah, the snakeskin tunic. And even though only the three of you were there when it was found, I think everyone should roll off on this because the +2 dexterity bonus, you can wear it with armor, and that part does stack. So whoever gets to wear it can put it on under their armor, and their AC will go up by 1.
Ooh.
So,
yeah.
So flat D20 roll for all 5 characters.
What about the spear?
Oh, 17.
ah, damn, 14.
Did I roll?
You did.
Oh, Nars gets it.
Casey wins it.
He won.
Natural mine?
Yep.
Sorry, guys. But didn't we also find a spear, or did we get the spear away?
The Impaler of Thorns, Billick had it, but I mean,
okay,
it's a quest item, so I'll put it back in the party.
Yeah, I don't want it. I just wanted to.
Yeah, I don't remember what it does. It's a reach weapon. We can figure that out a little bit. But all right, so yeah, Casey won the snakeskin tunic. All right, so the 8, so this does a +1 to AC and a +2 to Dex, and then something else. The AC bonus does not stack with your armor, but the Dex bonus does.
Nice.
Okay. So yeah, the end effect will be your AC will go up by 1.
Okay. What type of bonus is the AC bonus?
It just is +1 to AC. It's just normal, armor class bonus. So.
Gotcha. I didn't know if it was like a ring of protection or something like that. That's what I was asking.
That's But I dug into it, and that seems to be what the consensus is.
We were headed to what? Turtle Bay?
Turtleback Ferry.
Okay. Where are we at now?
You are in just a small village in, just inside the Santos Forest.
Okay, so this is not our final destination.
No, sir.
Okay, so we're headed
Where?
to where? Rorick Fort something?
Fort Rannoch.
Fort Rennick. Okay, I was close.
Mhm.
All right. Then I would like to ask our new host here if she knows the way. Do you know the way to Fort Rennick?
To Fort Rennick. Why would you want to go to a place like that?
Our business is our own. But if you know where it is, we could use a guide.
I could help you get there. Everybody has questions. What are your questions?
What's in this tea?
Oh, mostly bark and some orange spice and cinnamon. It's very nice. Warms you
Whiskey?
up from inside.
And whiskey. Lots
And
of
whiskey.
whiskey.
I'll take more tea, and he puts his cup towards towards the water skin with the whiskey.
So Ren's in a situation here where you're running a shop and you're being very polite, and so she's obligated almost to ask you about your shop. So she's like, "Can you tell the future with this?"
The future is hard to see, but people are easy to read.
Can you read me?
Now, to read somebody, they have to be open to you.
She's making a face like that might be hard for her.
That's okay. When you're ready. Not everybody is ready to know what they already know.
How soon can we depart for Fort Rennick?
You would know that you are getting back on the boat. The boat will continue on down to Turtleback Ferry. You'll be getting back on the boat here in just a couple hours.
Okay. So we're only here for a stopover.
Yeah, you're only here for a stopover.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to ask her in that case, is there anything in this town that we would need to see, and are you going to be joining us on the boat as we head on to Fort Rennick?
There are several things in the town to see. There's still people to talk to. There's shopping you can do here. Going around and getting gossip inside the city will be, maybe beneficial for what y'all might be facing down the road.
Is there some sort of a tavern nearby?
There is.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Then-
They could tell you more
Okay.
about your
Then I
fort
want to
over there.
I want to ask her, what do we owe you for accompanying us and taking us to Fort Rennick?
You all will be coming with me. You accompany me.
You're
I
going to the
have
fort?
seen you, but I don't know you.
Nars gets a little defensive. Like in defensive body posture. Because he doesn't understand how this lady is telling us what to do.
What do you mean you've seen us?
You don't know me, do you?
Never seen you before.
I am a dream seeker. I am Sorcha, dream seeker. And now, not everybody remembers her, but my granny and her granny's granny. All of them could see. But not until last night did I see. And I saw each of you.
Are you saying that our destinies are intertwined?
At some point down this road of yours, they are.
What did you see?
Not all of it is clear in its meaning yet. But I saw a great serpent on top of a turtle. And an army was encircled by its coils, and they were fighting against this serpent. And you four took turn look to me for help. And I'm to come and help. Or at least make you good tea on rainy day.
So, Zephora, this should sound a little strange to you. Like, you've never met any of these four people in this room before. All you've seen is these three guys on the ship. And now you're being told that this strange little gnomish woman is having a dream about you accompanying these men. But they are going
and
to
women.
the destination.
So
How does that make you feel?
Sephora scoots a little closer to Sorsha and says, "We're gonna have to talk later. I need to know more about this. That you want to help me. I think I may need help."
Of course, dear.
Does Ren hear that?
Did you try to be quiet?
I tried to be quiet. I was just talking to her at the time.
Okay. So Ren didn't hear that. But she's going to
No.
look at you anyway because you're in this vision for some reason. And she's going to say, "Are you destined for Fort Rennick as well?"
Um,
I'm sorry to hear
Yes.
that. Yes.
yeah,
Whom are you asking?
I'm making
Our new
sure.
party member. Okay. She's like, "Well, then it seems as if we're all going the same direction. Perhaps we should stick together. There are many dangers out there. They're not easily identified."
You've never seen a bogard.
Oh, what?
A bogard.
A Bogard? What is that?
Oh, you really haven't seen one. If you had seen one, you would know.
Is there anything we can roll on that?
Casey, go ahead and roll. Like you may be the only other one who would have encountered these, so I'll let you roll either a knowledge local or a profession sailor.
I have profession soldier/pirate, and no local. I have dungeoneering.
Give me your profession soldier/pirate.
Okay. I don't know what that rolled because I was reading something.
15.
A 15.
The only thing you know about boggards is, like, aren't they a type of frog?
Okay, I asked that. Aren't they just a big frog?
Big is small child. Yeah, big is young child, but nasty fighter. They are
Yeah,
warriors and they're people.
Cut the legs off and eat them?
I wouldn't want to eat that dinner.
No, I'm telling you, good eating.
If you say so. Keeps up the tea.
He just
Sephora
cuts his
says,
eyes at Mashashi. So what
They're
do you sell in
nasty
this?
and they're vicious.
What do you sell in this shop? Is it just a fortune teller shop, or do you have stuff for sale?
You guys know wares that y'all can buy, like that. Nothing that'll benefit you in the game. That'll be pure role play. I'm going to go ahead and put that out right now.
No, I'm not looking for anything to benefit. I'm looking for something to give my appreciation without anybody knowing I'm giving appreciation. like some pointless trinket or something like that, like a necklace of luck, or that has no effect, or you know.
I have some crystals.
Like if we wanted
Sometimes
something.
you find them just in the road, but sometimes what you just come across can have meaning to you.
Oh my god!
You
can
wanted something
keep
with no
one.
effect, and you thought of crystals.
Please,
It's a quartz crystal.
I love it. I love it so much.
God.
I also have more tea.
But you
So,
said you're
Musashi-
going on the journey with us, so I can have as much tea as I want.
That's true. I'll always make you tea if you want.
So I just find the most weirdest looking rock / crystal, and I give a gold piece. I think that's enough.
So Zephora said she
You're
was
very
headed toward.
polite. And
Zephora said
I
she was
like
headed towards
you.
Fort Riddick, right?
Yes, she did.
Okay. Then I would like to ask her, like, you care to divulge your business there?
Yeah. I was raised by my mother and father, my mother and stepfather, in a small town in the Holds of Belskin. When I was only 11, my mother fell ill, and that's when my stepfather, Jakardos, left forever,
Harsh.
never to return. Well, I have recently learned that my former stepfather has made quite a name for himself with the Black Arrows, and I've booked passage on a ship to return for work that will deliver me up the river to the town of Turtleback Ferry. So from there, I will travel to the fort and try to speak to Jakardos myself.
So I understand we stopped here to meet a character, but was there any other reason we stopped in this town?
I mean, not particularly. There is some
Okay.
more information that you can gain from this town, but
Yeah, I was gonna say Ren is gonna want to go to the tavern at some point just to hear whatever gossip they can about this town or this local area, or what people think maybe is causing this rain that's been nonstop.
If you all are warmed up, let's get going. I'll take you to the tavern, and you
What
can
else is
ask
in
about your fort.
Like, is there a shady place here for like thieves and besides the tavern?
no,
Like how there was that place in
Shady, like
Macamar?
not seen.
no. This is small village
Okay.
gnomes.
Yeah, I'm
Gotcha.
envisioning like the Shire of Lord of the Rings on this.
Yeah, I was thinking like the Shire, but even those places might have their like little troublemakers hideaway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You'd be most likely to find any troublemakers at the tavern.
So if we're gonna go to the tavern until our layover is over, what we're just gonna go there and kind of listen, right? So like, what are we overhearing?
You hear a couple of gnomes arguing, over in the corner, and one of them's a farmer, the other one is a simple fisherman, and the farmer is he's insisting. No, it's a curse. It's a curse. I'm telling you, I've been farming these lands for some odd 85 years, and there ain't never been no rainy season like this. Never been no 3.5 weeks of just rain. It ain't stopped. It don't stop at night. Jimbo. Sorry. It just rains constant. It's got to be a curse. And Jimbo's no. Rainy season just happened. This rainy season is just a little worse than last year, but hey, the good thing is the fish are biting. Like they're coming up, and they just I'm making a killing. Well, my crops have washed away because it ain't stopped raining for 4 weeks. I'm telling you, there's a witch. No, you're wrong. It's just natural rain.
I would like to interrupt their conversation and go over there. and ask
Yeah,
them. Have you heard anything about rain in Turtleback Ferry?
Yeah, I hear it's been raining on down there too. That they've been dealing with this, this same phenomenon. That they've been coming on a little bit longer than us, maybe even about 6-7 weeks. Just rain nonstop.
Nars take. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
The Jimbo, he's like, yeah. I mean, it is presenting a little bit of a problem. I mean, the waters are starting to rise around here. Up at the dock. I mean, it's almost touching the shop floors when when it gets real windy and now, like, I don't know, it's looking like some people might have to move back away from the shore a little bit or their house is gonna get flooded.
What makes you think it's a curse? Why would you say it's a curse and not the rainy season? And you mentioned a witch. Is there like a legend or a tale or folklore or?
I'm gonna chime up to him and be like, or did you guys in the village do something to cause this curse?
Like sacrifice a little gnomish kid?
Because no, all the gnomish kids we sacrificed have been for dinner. Wait, no, not that. But no,
You've got to pay attention to having more than tea.
Yeah, I just my family's been farming on this land for as long as there's been land almost, and I'm just telling you, it ain't never rained like this. Now, I don't know that there's a witch. I ain't never seen a witch other than our good family dream seeker here is the closest thing we have to magicalness in our town. But they're a blessing.
Musashi's gonna take like 2 steps away from her.
He says, I hear that the rain started on down in Turtleback Ferry roundabout the time that them eras stopped talking.
Who stopped talking?
Them black eras. They
the black arrows. Okay.
Yeah, like they used to go on down to Turtleback, and even every now and then they'd venture up here on their wanderings and spend some coin in our tavern. But we ain't seen them in several months now. And I hear that the rain started on down there about the same time that they stopped heading out.
Ren wants to look back at the party and be like, I think more is going on there than we realize, and I think we need to get over there like as soon as possible.
I guess I just tip my hat, and I have a half drunken beer that I bought, and I just give it to the one that's not the fisherman. I don't know who's who. I heard Jim Bob, and I think that was all.
Yeah, Jimbo's the fisherman. You had the farmer.
What did the letter say? We found a letter. What did the letter say?
I can give that to you right now. I was looking at that earlier.
You read it during the recap. I just don't remember.
While you're looking for that, Ren will suggest to you guys, like, I think we should head back to the ship and see if there's anything we can do to make haste and get to there. The Black Arrows could be in danger themselves.
Okay.
So
I trust your little band of murderers is doing well. Gathering the greedy soul. My sister, I trust your little band of murderers is doing well, gathering greedy souls for our Lord's rise. Has Magnamar proven to be as sinful as you hoped? It may interest you to know that my plan to nurture greed here in this little backwater has blossomed. The quality of greed in the soul is so much more refined when it's given proper care. Are you still simply carving the Sahedron rune on them as they expire? How crude. My method of marking is so much more elegant. In any event, I'm sure you'll find that your plans for harvesting greed where and when you can find it in the wild are progressing well enough. I just hope that your raw, ungroomed, and likely inferior victims don't interact poorly when mixed with the purity of my own subjects. If you tire of your little project there, know that you are always welcome to come to Turtleback Ferry and serve as my assistant, little sister. Fort Rannoch should be in our control by the time you receive this letter.
Right.
In any event, so there'll be plenty of room for you if you wish to take me up on my generous offer. Oh, and before I forget, have you managed to harvest that Lord Mayor yet? By all accounts, he might just be the cream of the crop in Magnamar. His soul might even rival several of my own from my own hand-grown harvest.
So,
Yeah, so
when we're
so
back,
we would already know that Fort Rannoch is probably in their control.
so here's what I was so Nars. I mean, as we're walking back and we're talking, Nars is mumbling to himself, and he speaks up and he says, he looks at Rin and he's like, what you use magics. What is your, would you have anybody that you trained with? Would you call them like a sister, brother, like a worshipping follower, like followers?
Not in the order that we trained under. However, I think maybe she's referring to a sister Lamian of some type, and possibly they're part of this brotherhood. A brotherhood would probably refer to each other as brother and sister.
That's what I was thinking. And whoever this is, maybe it is. She said that the way that you're marking people is grotesque, right? So what if the curse is carried on from her way of marking people, and it's not when they're dead, but it's when they're alive, and wherever the people that are traveling is alive, the curse is following them and harvesting their soul. And the reason you haven't seen the Black Arrows is because they have taken over Fort Rannoch. And Turtleback Ferry is like their holdup, like their
So simply put, we must make haste.
Yes. So are we still? We've left the bar, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I choked on my words.
Ren wants to head back to the boat like immediately, so I would have left.
Yeah,
the bar.
yeah.
Just following me along.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm following you. Now I know we're on the boat. Is it just like, are we just on it because of like who I know?
That's how you got passage onto that boat. Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
y'all would have needed a boat to get down the river, period.
Okay.
So you got on this one because of who you know. Or rather who you are, I guess, because most everybody on the ship would, or everybody of rank would know you.
I don't know if you have influence if you could get them to pull out early.
I will. I don't know if what I was saying, like out of character, I don't know if what I was saying was making sense, but like whatever this person is doing to people, maybe it's like a blight that spreads.
Maybe.
Through like I'm assuming everything's tied to the symbol of greed because we've seen that a lot. So maybe somehow there's a marking of the symbol of greed that carries the blight on, and the areas that it's affecting it might have enough people. So I don't know if we should look for that marking on people or on structures, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, yeah. I think we'd be looking for it the entire time we're walking around, just keeping an eye out for anything that could be related to it.
Okay, I'm back.
But yeah, like I think
so when we get to the boat, I want to go.
Yeah.
So when we're back on the boat, I walk up to Baylor.
Yeah, he's standing there, making sure that the sails are getting lashed to the mast right. He looks at, hey, what's that, son?
He just smiles and chuckles, and he like throws his hand out for a handshake. And
Baylor reaches out with his mechanical hand. You see, he's still got, from the wrist down, one hand is a red, somewhat mechanical device.
Is he here?
No. You know the answer to that. He's not here today, or rather at the moment. But he will be if
you're in charge then.
Yeah.
we
What's your
need to
name?
get to Turtleback Ferry as fast as possible. No more stops. Up the river, straight there. There's some major shit going on.
Oh, come on. We've got 4 more stops to make. How are we going to make money?
How much money are you going to make at these stops?
I mean, mostly it's just a few hundred, but it's more.
Have,
Yeah.
have
making
y'all
up
ever
pieces.
have you stopped at Tiger Lily lately, or Tiger whatever it was?
No, it's been some time.
Well, if you stop there, you'll get a couple of packages that will make up for what you're gonna lose. If you remember, I've been sending money.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, so I'll tell you what. We'll there's a fork in the river up here. If we go to the left, we can go straight on to Turtleback and skip over the rest of our stops. We'll go that way. I'll get you to your stop, and I'll double back. Old Gil won't mind taking an extra week or 2 on some deliveries.
If he has any trouble, just tell him I asked you. I know that would make his day.
So yeah, he turns back and he says, "All right, open up the small sails." And the dude who just got done tying, he's like, "Aw, but." So y'all set back off down the river. You move along, taking the fork to the left. Travel on for maybe a day. Again, weather's just getting continually worse the whole way down. And here the water is really starting to get dangerously high on the shore. You can just think to how high it is right now in I forgot your name. Sorsha's village. And you come upon what looks like a pile of rocks and rubble and downed trees in the river a little bit up the way. The ship slows to a stop, or well, rather to a crawl, because you can't quite stop these. What do y'all think you should do?
Can I roll a perception and look like? I'm not calling it like. Is it like a structure made by a creature, like a beaver dam, or or is it man-made, or?
Go ahead, roll me perception.
Perception.
Or
That's a 19.
to you, it looks like it could be, natural mudslide. Zephora, roll knowledge nature, I think. That would be a good one. DC.
I'm working on it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. She also believes it looks like natural mudslide. Like if y'all, you feel that you can get out and clear the way.
Okay. Then that's what we'll do.
All right.
But can I roll my perception over to check like the surrounding shores and the sky and stuff like that?
Sure.
Do I see anything?
I haven't seen your second perception yet.
Okay, you want a second perception? I said, can I roll
I
it
thought
over?
you meant like
Sorry.
roll it again. Okay.
No. You
no,
want a second one?
No, 19 is good enough for, you hop out, and as you hop out of the boat and start to wade your way up the shore, you notice in time to stop them from getting the drop. A large group of 3 to 4 foot tall frog people hiding amongst the bushes and in the water. And that is where we'll go ahead and call it tonight. So you avoided them getting the surprise round. Perception.
Not what I was looking for.
Okay,
Well,
everybody say
I was
goodnight
like,
to
look-
boys.
everybody say goodnight to
Good
this
night.
recording because I gotta go to bed.
Good night.
Good night, man.